Hi everyone, it's Kelly here. Welcome to my channel if this is your first time. Welcome back if you've been before. Lovely to have you either way. On this channel we talk books, and today I am very late wrapping up the books that I read in the month of March. It is now May as I'm recording this, so as you can see I'm a little bit behind, but that's okay. This is a smallish wrap up because I read 3 books in the month of March, which is a little bit under my target. I try to read 1 book a week, not necessarily exactly 1 book a week, but over the month to try and get to at least 4 books. So I didn't quite make it in March, but I have caught up in April, which you'll see when we get to my next wrap-up video. But let's have a look at the books that I read in March, or finished in March I should say. The first book that I finished in March was a poetry collection, which is a little bit shiny and is going to be a bit hard for me to show you on the screen, but it's called Even in the Dark by Rose Lucas. This is a book that I picked up because I was ordering something from, so it's published by UWA Publishing, which is the University of Western Australia, I believe, and I was purchasing something else and I popped into their sale section to see what was going, because if you're paying for the shipping, you might as well get bang for your buck. And I found this poetry collection. It sounded interesting, so I thought I would give it a go. And that turned out to be an excellent decision, because this ended up being a 5-star read for me. It's a beautiful poetry collection with some particularly lovely poems about nature. There was also a very moving poem, which was called Unmade. I won't read it to you because I don't know if that's a bit weird. Is that weird to do? Anyway, Unmade. I'll read a little, maybe just a little excerpt for you. It starts off, I have come adrift, like a loose thread dangling from a sleeve, which another hand, more adept than mine, would carefully have snipped, even sewn back in. And it's just beautiful. It's a beautiful poem. And I think that tiny excerpt at least shows the type of writing that we're talking about. So I really loved it. And that particular poem felt like it was describing the journey of unmasking, which if you're a neurodivergent person, especially a late diagnosed neurodivergent person, you will know very, very well. And this, to me, that's what it captured, or at least what resonated for me. So, beautiful collection, 5 stars. Very happy to have accidentally brought it into my life, and subsequently, my next video to film is going to be a book haul from March. I subsequently ordered another book of Rose Lucas's poetry called Unexpected Clearing, so I'm going to hopefully be reading that one soon as well, and hopefully it'll be just as good as Even in the Dark. The second book that I finished in the month of March was Return to the Enchanted Island, and this was a book by Johary Ravaloson, apologies if I've mispronounced that, and translated by Allison M. Charette. This is a book that I read for my Reading Around the World book club, where we try to read a book from every country over many, many years. This was a book from Madagascar, and it was translated from French. It was written originally in French. And it was an interesting read. There were some really good points made about colonization, culture, the arts, mythology, etc. So there were some, really interesting themes that kind of emerged. And unfortunately, though, on the flip side of that, there were some sections that were talking about the mythology of Madagascar, and they weren't particularly well integrated into the story, and there were some time jumps that were a little bit hard to follow. So yeah, overall this ended up being just okay for me. I gave it 3 stars, but our book club chat was really good. So, it ended up being a good choice for the book club, but in terms of my just raw enjoyment of the book, it was more just I liked it rather than loved it sort of a book, which is okay because not every book you read is going to be a banger, and that's okay. And then the third book that I read, finished in the month of March, again a tiny bit late, was Summer by Ali Smith. It is no longer summer. Summer finished in February, but here we are. We got there. This is the fourth book in and final book in the seasonal quartet by Ali Smith. There is another book in the series called Companion Piece. I don't know if I'm going to seek that one out because this was sort of like a little project that I set for myself. I tried to read them all in the season in which the title kind of insinuates. And I will say, actually, for people who've been interested in this series, you don't necessarily need to do that, because I didn't necessarily find that it was, sort of that season vibes when I was reading the books. So, if you're thinking about reading this book, don't feel restricted by the title to read it in that season, because I don't think it's necessary. Anyway, I have liked this series, but I don't know that I have loved this series, but I have now read all four. This is the final one. And in this one, actually, interestingly, because to me, the first three books of the series seemed pretty not connected. This book actually brings some of those characters from the different books together. So that was interesting, because I don't know that I anticipated that was going to happen. So, interesting. Their lives start to intersect, and, a character from autumn and a character from spring, meet, or there's a connection there somewhere. So, I thought that was quite an interesting way to kind of conclude the series. However, the main characters from this book, which are new, there's two characters that I really didn't like. So there was Grace and there was her son, Robert. And particularly Robert. So Grace sort of reads like I would say, an uninformed person who thinks they know all the things. And I find dealing with people like that really challenging in real life. So reading about someone like that wasn't particularly, a pleasant experience. And Robert is just a really challenging character to like and to humanize, I guess. And there were some things that he was doing. He's a teenager, by the way. And he was engaging in, I'm going to call them unsavory online activities, well beyond his developmental stage. He was accessing and participating in some things that he should not have even known about. So that was challenging to read about. So I don't know. There were efforts made to redeem them with backstory, but to me, that didn't really make me like them anymore. Maybe it explained some of their attitudes and behaviors, but it certainly didn't make me, want them to succeed or make me want to read more about these people. I would say overall from the series, Spring has been my favourite, but this one I gave 3.5 stars to. So again, it was just okay, not my absolute favourite. So it's been a bit of a mixed bag with this series. Obviously, Ali Smith is a great writer and she has some really interesting ideas, but I just don't know that this series was as much for me as I thought it was going to be. So that is what it is. Those are the 3 books that I read in the month of March. Let me know down in the comments if you've read any of those and have other ideas, or you don't agree, you thought summer was amazing, or whatever it is, yeah, I'd love to hear from you down in the comments, but I will otherwise catch you on the next video. Thanks for watching. Bye.